if I get. I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
Welcome back, eSIM Studios. It's a pleasure to have everyone back here on the live stream. We are live Monday. What is it? May 18th. My goodness, time is flying by. Thank you for joining us today. Before we get started, we got a lot of news here. Before we get started, I want to let everybody know this YouTube channel, this live stream, this video is sponsored by Leica Mobile. Leica Mobile has got fantastic plans. I tell y'all every single day. 18 gigs of data, unlimited talk, unlimited text, over 100 countries for only $7.50 per month. $7.50 a month for 18 gigs of high-speed 5G data. And they also have an unlimited plan for $18 per month. Pretty good deal. Also, IMEI and IMEI certified.com. Get your IMEI certified clean by the professionals. They take any lost or stolen device, iPhone, Android, even tablets, iPads, Samsung tablets, even hotspots, even watches. If it has an IMEI number, if it is considered lost or stolen, they will convert it back to clean and clear status so you can use it again. Now, let's get into it. So, how's everybody doing? What's going on? Dang, boy. I know, right? Yo, what's up, man? Forehead big as hell. Well, yes. You're not the first person to notice that. Yeah. So, congratulations to you for noticing that. Thank you for joining us. So, let's see here. I wanted to jump into, at least it's not as big as Rihanna's forehead, right? Could be worse. I wanted to get into OnePlus and the OnePlus update fiasco. Is it considered a fiasco? I don't think so. A mishap, maybe. Misstep, maybe. I told y'all yesterday they were on top of it, and boy, are they. So today, we got word that the OnePlus update is good to go. Yes, it is good to go. I know there's been a couple of people in the comments from yesterday's video saying, hey, I got the update notification today. Is it okay to update it? And I said, well, hang on. Let me do some investigation. Let me see what's going on behind the scenes. I've been working all day and I haven't really been, keeping up with the news. So this afternoon I took a deep dive into what's going on. And yes, OnePlus has fixed it. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, there was an update for the OnePlus 15 and OnePlus 15R for the 15 series. Now, from what I understand, there were a few devices outside of the OnePlus 15 family that were getting bricked. So I think I saw online today, I was going through some threads. There was a Nord that got bricked. There was, what else? A Nord, I want to say a 13 or a 13R, but the majority of them were the 15 series, either a 15 or 15R. They were bricked. Now, it was the May update that they pushed last week was bricking devices. And, the community, you jump on the forums, hey, this is happening, what's going on? And OnePlus pulled the update. So it was only available for maybe a day or two, and then they pulled it late last week. I think it was released midweek. They pulled it late last week. And then over the weekend, the lead developer for OnePlus, he's constantly on the OnePlus community application, put out a statement saying, hey, we know this is, jacked up. We know it's messed up. We know what the issue is. They sincerely apologized. And today they put out a press release, he put out a press release, the lead developer, saying it's fixed. You can update your devices now. So if you got that notification, you are good to go. Here's the problem, though. I still don't know what to do. Let's say you're one of the affected people. Let's say you updated your devices and it got bricked, which sucks big time. I don't know how to fix it. So I think the flash tool is still available. Look, the best thing for you to do if it got bricked, and I don't think it had, I don't think it affected a whole bunch of people, but look, 1,000, 2,000, it's still a mishap. What I suggest you to do is you can still access the OnePlus community online, meaning on a laptop, on another device. You can access that community. I would, if I were you and I had a brick device, I would DM the main developer and say, because he's very active on there, and say, hey, I'm one of the affected people that has a bricked whatever OnePlus 15. What do I do? Right? Because here's the issue. If it's bricked, meaning if it's stuck in a boot loop, you cannot get into the operating system. Well, what the hell? What do I do? How do I fix this? Because it's not like they can just push an update to your phone and it's fixed. No, I can't get into the operating system. I'm assuming he will send you a zip file, send you the OnePlus flash tool. It's sort of like what I used when I used to flash custom ROMs all the time on like OnePlus 6 or 6T or OnePlus 8. I'm assuming it's a flash tool. He'll say you unzip the file, you run the program on your laptop, probably send you a list of instructions to do. It's pretty easy. Like, all you got to do is just, if you can read instructions to bake a cake, right? You can do this. I mean, it's you'll be able to figure it out, right? You just got to go step by step. He'll send you a zip, you unzip it, you run the program, you insert a file that's inside that zip in that program and hit flash, and it'll redo everything. The only thing that sucks is that it'll probably wipe your phone. There's a good chance it'll wipe your phone, but at least you'll have a working phone. So that's my suggestion, is if you are affected, just reach out to the developer, and should have you going here pretty soon. I'm sure they have contingency plans for these types of things, right? Now, good news, it sucks this happened, but good news is, well, for one, they fixed it, but for two, it just proves to everybody that OnePlus is not ending support. OnePlus is not dead. OnePlus, even though they're taking a step back from the global market, it shows that they're still dedicated to their users, to the community, to their consumer. And that's good news, that not only they're in touch with the consumer base, but that they're doing it quick, right? What if this took a month to fix? That would suck, right? And then you're like, then that would be like, oh man, that would not look good on the company. That would put fuel on the fire, as far as they are taking a step back. They are, maybe they fired too many people, and now it's only on one or two developers to fix this whole thing. No, they fixed it literally within a day or two and pushed an update out. So good news for OnePlus, good news for OnePlus users. They're still on board with us, and they're still supporting us and their phones. So I'm happy that, this is fixed. I'm happy that we have a resolution. I was going to be under the assumption today, we were going to have to look and scour the internet to see if there's any solutions, if there is a fixed date. When is that going to be? Are they, I'm glad to say it's fixed. You can safely update your phones now. This new update that they're pushing will not brick your device. So 2 thumbs up to OnePlus. Thank you very much. You've made a lot of people, I don't want to say happy, but a sigh of relief, where you can update your phone safely now. So they are watching this on their OnePlus 15. Yes. Well, did you get the update? Let me know if you got it, because it sounds like a lot of people. Happy Monday to you as well. Thank you for watching. Sounds like a lot of people are getting their update. I've been notified by a number of viewers and subscribers that, hey, they got the update now. And I knew that would happen. I knew once the fix was in that they would click the available tab now on their end and have that update available for all users. So Very good news. You got the April 2026 update. I think this is the May update. I think, because my OnePlus 15 already has the April update on it, and I think this is the upcoming May update. And mine has not been. Of course, I haven't checked, but I probably will after this. I've just been so busy. I wonder if the recent trip to China is what might save OnePlus, and they have some sort of green light. I don't think it saved the OnePlus, but I was thinking about this today, and we have I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it in today to talk about, but we need to have like, what do they call it? We need to have a group discussion. We need to have, I don't want to do it now. I do want to do it now, but I don't want to do it now because we got a few other stories to get to, and I can't have this super long live stream. Why don't we do that tomorrow? Unless there's like major news. Well, Google I/O is tomorrow. There will be major news. Let me see if I can sneak this in tomorrow. But we need to have a major talk about where the smartphone industry is going, especially for people in the United States. Does not look good. In fact, it looks very bad. But I'm going to save that for tomorrow. I don't mean to, tease you, but I got a lot of other stuff I wanted to get into. But I think that the China trip from Trump did save some stuff as far as potentially allowing some of the floodgates to be opened up a little bit, or the dam gates to be opened up a little bit, as far as business wise, doing business between China and the United States. Now, I guess it's good news because I don't anticipate the FCC telling the carriers to not provide service to any IMEIs that are based out of China, that are manufactured in China, meaning, we've talked about this before, or what if Trump says, or the administration tells the FCC to cut all service to any IMEI that is a Chinese phone? It's possible, right? And a month ago, it looked very possible. I don't anticipate that becoming an issue now, at least, because look, you're spot on. I was following this Chinese trip very, very closely, just from a technology standpoint, business standpoint, phone standpoint. Where is this going to go? You can see they opened up a ton of deals. Boeing is going to sell, they allowed Boeing to sell 200 jet airliners to China. They allowed a lot of stuff, AI components, to be sold to China, because remember, they essentially cut all business off. Nvidia, right? Nvidia is going to sell GPUs now to China. So there's a lot of things that went into this trip that I was specifically looking for, that I think will help us in the long run as far as the end user. Now, for OnePlus, I don't think it'll help, because OnePlus is kind of separate from, even though they're tied directly to the topic we're talking about. OnePlus's issue with taking a step back from the global market has more to do with the market itself than it does from any administrative duties or laws being passed, or restrictions, or tariffs. OnePlus issue has more to do with the decline in market share, meaning the revenue coming in just cannot support all the other stuff they have going on. Their overhead, paying employees, paying for certifications, manufacturing, the R&D into new products. I just don't think their revenue was able to support the business. And I think that's why Oppo chose to scale it back, because they were just losing money, right? It was just losing money every month. And apparently that's been going on for years. And they just, at some point, you got to pull the plug, right? It's just, I think it has more to do with that than it has to do with the China trip. But I mean, OnePlus will still be here. They're just going to sell their flagship phones in China, and then everything budget is going to go to India. So good point, though, and I appreciate you for bringing up that topic. I was keeping a very close eye on that. I just want more competition so there's more innovation between brands. I tell you what, join us. Don't miss I'll try to schedule it when this is done. Join us. We're going to have that discussion tomorrow and I think that deserves its entire episode or an entire live stream and I desperately need your input as well on this topic because I'm going to bring a couple of things to the table as far as information and prospects and looking into the future a little bit. I like to do that every now and then. See where this smartphone world is headed. Does not look good. But we'll get into that tomorrow. Don't miss tomorrow's show. Although I think I'm going to do 2 shows tomorrow because Google I/O's tomorrow. They're going to announce a ton of shit tomorrow. A ton. Hardware, software, new projects they've been working on. So I know maybe we'll combine it into one. Maybe we'll do 2. We'll do this phone topic and then Google I/O. We'll figure it out. But join me tomorrow. We'll discuss that tomorrow for sure. Cool using the US version of it, and maybe I'll get the global for a trip. Are you talking about the OnePlus device? The US version should work globally, right? It's not just for US. Like if you buy a OnePlus 15 here, it's the US version. It's unlocked. You can take it to India and it'll work with an India SIM card. You can take it to Australia. It'll work with an Australian SIM card. You can take it to Italy. It'll work with an Italian SIM card. So it'll be unlocked for anywhere. The US version is the global unlocked version. It just has a few extra 5G bands added in there on top of all the other ones. So it'll work optimally with USA carriers, right? So it'll work. You're not going to have to buy a separate phone for that. It will still work for sure. It'll still work for sure. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it will. That's a nice it's a nice aspect. They just say US version because they did add some modifications to the modem. They opened it up a little bit more for carrier aggregation, for that CPU and the modem it has in there is, I think, the most advanced modem in the world out of any mobile device, meaning the modem handles the carrier, right? Carrier signals, the 5Gs. And honestly, the United States has one of the more advanced networks when it comes to carrier networks in the world. Now, every now and then you'll see China's working on 6G, and we are too, right? But for our market specifically in the United States, it has frequencies, it has bands that other parts of the world do not have. So they just say, look, US variant, because it has those extra added bands in there, if that makes sense, right? You can buy, like with that Motorola Signature I bought, the global version. But it was sold in India, but it was a global version. I brought it here, or I purchased it, had it shipped here, worked fine. And it would be the opposite on your end, right? Somebody in India could buy your OnePlus 15, a US model, have it shipped to India. They put their India SIM card in there, and it would work totally fine. So, fun fact, US model OnePlus 15 with the charger in the box, which is meant to do just 80 watts, can actually do 120 watts charging speed if it's plugged into a European outlet, and I didn't know that at first. Yeah, that is interesting. And that whole thing too, with, mine, the whole 80 watts versus 120 watts, or if you do buy global variants, it's like, I want to get the 120 watt charger. Charging is pretty freaking similar. I know there's 40 watts in between 80 and 120, but realistically, both will go 0 to 100. I mean, the 120 watt will probably beat it, a couple minutes. Still charges it super fast. And you can also go buy a 120 watt OnePlus charger online if you want. Just be careful because there's a lot of fakes out there. A lot of fakes. So you technically do 120 for the US model. European outlet has double the volts. Interesting. I did not know that. OnePlus 15 is $100 off. Pretty decent deal. Did they go back down to $100 off? Yeah, I know there are probably, and look, when I say leave the global market, what they're doing, because some people will ask, well, when are they leaving? When are they leaving the global market? Well, it's whenever they sell all their phones, right? Like, they still have a warehouse full of OnePlus 15s and 15Rs. They're not just gonna stop and close shop, and what's going to happen with all those phones? They still need to generate revenue. So yeah, they're still in. Look, I think when I did the other video, what was it, the other day, when I said nothing is replacing OnePlus at Best Buy, I think maybe I didn't clarify it good enough, but people thought people thought that Best Buy was going to stop selling OnePlus phones. That is not the case. They're still selling them. They're just taking their in-store model, the display models in store. They're taking those OnePlus 15s out of their physical retail stores and putting in the nothing phones in their place. But you can still buy it online on Best Buy's website. You can still buy it online on OnePlus's website, and they're going to try and sell as many as they can to get rid of the stock and of their inventory. And it's probably why you see them with the $100 off. They try to sell units, right? They're trying to make some money. They're trying to get them out there. That's a fantastic deal. Again, for the price, it's the best phone in America. For Americans that you can officially buy, because I know there's, oh no, that's not true. Well, what about the Oppo Find X9 Ultra? I'm not talking about that. Yes, you can buy one, but you got to go through third-party retailers, eBay, GizTop. I'm talking about devices you can buy from the manufacturer, like a Samsung, buying at the Samsung website, Apple website, right? Google website, OnePlus US website. Spec-wise and enjoyment-wise, it's better than anything that Americans have the opportunity of purchasing, especially for the money, right? If you get, what do they start out at? The 12 gig 256 starts at $899, or was that the initial price? I think it was $899. No, let's actually, you know what? Let's go find out. The hell happened? My screen went out. Damn it. That is weird. There we go. One of my screens went out. Yeah, that's a deal right there. Save $100 on the OnePlus 15, 256 gig with code EXTRA100. That is a steal. $850 gets you the best spec phone in the United States, even at the 12 gig 256. Remember, they have RAM expansion in there. You can expand that RAM up to 12 gigs. So you can essentially have 24 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. Well, it takes 12 of those 256 and puts it over in the RAM department, but you get the point. That's a good deal. I would take advantage of it if you're in the market for a new phone. They clearly still support their devices. Legally, they have to update the software for the length of whatever they are quoted at. And forgive me, I think it's 5 years software updates, 6 years of security patches, whatever it is. They're going to do it, right? And Google will hold them to it, and legally they are bound to support their devices. So pretty good deal. Now let's see. Can you get the 16 gig for $50 off the 16 gig of RAM for the Sandstone, and then $100 off? Yeah, they are trying to get rid of that stock, that inventory, aren't they? Well, good for them. That's a deal. If you're in the market, you can also trade in your device as well. Yeah, as you see here, you can lower that 850 down to, I don't know, $300 depending on what phone you have. So thank you for informing us. That is very interesting. At Best Buy, no, it's a good deal. It's a good opportunity to get a fantastic device at a lower price. When I pre-ordered the OnePlus 15 in December, it was $100 off due to some early discounts, even with a free case and charger. I think I remember that. Yeah, I do. Final price with tax was $953. Wow. And that's free case, obviously charger in the box. Didn't they also come with buds, right? Like free buds, or a watch. Remember that? That's and look, I paid $1,500 for my S26 Ultra, and I'm not even impressed. It's like the same phone as last year. OnePlus 15 is pretty impressive. It'll essentially do anything, right? Pretty freaking impressive. Samsung discounted the S26 Ultra $50 more off, with a total of $250 off. I don't think the S26 line is selling well. Well, there are reports that it's tricky. There are reports saying that there are reports saying that when I saw that report, I saw a few reports. So you'll see a couple of things in the headline saying that the S26 Ultra or the S26 series, most of the sales are to the Ultra, but the S26 series has outsold the previous year's S25 series and all others behind it. Now, from what I understand, that those sales are falling off pretty quick. So what that means, I don't know, but it sold well at first, and then I'm assuming the sales dropped off a cliff. Now, that can be due to a number of things. I haven't really analyzed the market or looked, peeled behind the curtains to see why they dropped off. Maybe people realized it's really not that much of an upgrade. I think Samsung got lucky with an upgrade cycle, because every couple of years, I think the average lifeline for the average American, it's like 3.4, 3.8 years, meaning the average American will hold on to their smartphone for 3.4 or almost, 4 years before they upgrade. And I think they just got lucky getting caught in an upgrade cycle where just a large majority of their users was due for an upgrade, essentially. And I think that's why. So maybe we'll look into that as well at another time. At Best Buy, the 512 gig models $849 with activation on Verizon or AT&T. Yeah, that's interesting. So it's $100 cheaper. No, what is that? For the 512 gig, what am I at? It's $100 cheaper. Oh, I see, because obviously the Verizon or AT&T activation. I've never used mine on anything other than T-Mobile. But do you remember the days when it didn't even used to work on Verizon? It's kind of like where nothing is at right now. It's like the only thing that, well, I'm saying the only thing, but seems like the only carrier that really works well with nothing phones is T-Mobile or a T-Mobile MVNO. In Verizon doesn't really play nicely. OnePlus used to be in that same position, right? Just years ago, 3 to 4 years ago, I don't even think Verizon would work on OnePlus. Didn't they used to sell a OnePlus though? I think that's what cracked the egg. I think that's what opened them up to usability on the carrier. Hey, what's up, Brian? Okay, no problem. It's a fuzzy display, the S26 Ultra. How did I know you were talking about that one? Happy Victoria Day to all Canadian viewers. Hope your day was not only great, but you had got to see the fireworks show as well. Was it the OnePlus 9? I think so. What is Victoria Day? Is that like the Canadian version of the 4th of July? I'm assuming. Independence Day. Never heard of that. Well, happy Victoria's Day to you, Brian, and all the Canadian viewers out there as well. Now, check this out. Speaking of Samsung, let me jump into this. Speaking of Samsung, let's see if I can get my mouse right. So we hit the OnePlus news. I'm going to link all these stories down below once we're done, right? I didn't have time to link them before the stream, but I promise I'll do it after. So once we're done, come back. If you want to look into these stories a little further, come back and I'll have them linked. Check this out. So we got news. Speaking of Samsung, we got news, a little tidbit of information here of what's coming up in the next Samsung flagship. Apparently, we're getting some decent upgrades. Now, what they're going to be specifically is still a little fuzzy. Speaking of the S26 Ultra display, all right? Well, we now know that it's locked and loaded. The S27 Ultra is going to feature a battery upgrade and design changes. Now, this has been a rumor, but a long-standing rumor. I think I've told y'all 2 years ago, right? Even before the S25 series was coming out, that the S27 was going to get a design change. And not just a little camera island design change. No, I'm talking about a total overhaul. Meaning the S27 Ultra was going to look completely different from the S26 Ultra. And it's going to get, now we know, a spec bump and or spec upgrade in a certain department. And it's confirmed. Now, the information that's still a little fuzzy, if you put the dots together, if you connect the dots, I think we're going to see the very first Samsung version of silicon carbon battery in this upcoming flagship series, because they've been working long and hard on their version of silicon carbon. Remember, the reason why they haven't put silicon carbon batteries in these devices is they just physically cannot get enough silicon carbon. Like, they sell so many phones, they just can't supply enough to put in their phones to sell. Well, they've known that, and Apple knows that, right? Eventually, Apple will move on to newer battery tech. Obviously, they're not really concerned about that, right? It seems like they're not really concerned about a lot of stuff in iPhone because, man, iPhones suck. But Samsung has known this, and they've been working on their version of a silicon carbon battery, sort of like I like to call it silicon carbon 2.0. It's their version of it. So it has the same characteristics of silicon carbon, or you can cram in a bunch of ions into the same space as a regular lithium ion battery, but it's more dense, right? That's what OnePlus does. And they also expanded it, but they cram those ions in to those silicon carbon. Well, Samsung's doing the same thing. They've been working on this for, from what I understand, 7 years. But just in the last 4 years, it really made an advancement. And just in the last 1 year, it even made such an advancement to where now they think they can put these in production units. And I think this is the first year we're going to see a big upgrade in the battery department. They've been hovering right around, give or take a few, 5,000 milliampere hours for the batteries for years. And I think you're going to see a change. Now, these are tied directly together. This story with these two points of information, a design upgrade and a battery upgrade, they're tied together because Samsung's going to go with 3 camera sensors for the S27 Ultra. Right now, the S26 Ultra, S25 Ultra, S24 Ultra, they've had those 4 sensors on the back for a long time. Well, now they're going to 3 sensors, so they're getting rid of 1 sensor, so that creates more room inside the device. It creates more area inside the device so they can put a bigger battery in there. And not only is it going to be more room, you see where it's located right now, where it's, it's down the top left side of the phone. Well, if you've seen the leaks, if you've seen those renders, and when I first saw them, I thought it was pretty freaking ugly. Now I'm like, kind of reminds me of the S10. The S10 was the S10 Plus. That was their bigger one. It was the horizontal, kind of like Pixel, but it was the horizontal camera island. Well, now they're going back to that, but they're going to move it up towards the very top of the phone. So that leaves that whole bottom of the device, maybe 80% of the device, you can room for rearranging components inside of there, and quite frankly, more room to put a bigger battery. Now, I've heard rumors that they're going to put a 9,000 milliamp per hour battery in there. 9,000. Now, that's not confirmed, but if they're going to put a 9,000 milliamp per hour battery in the S27 Ultra, I can almost guarantee you it's going to be silicon carbon, right? So if Samsung doesn't upgrade their battery, not just the size of it, but upgrade the technology, it'll definitely 1000% be in the S28 Ultra. But I think they're lining it up for this upcoming year with the S27 Ultra. One thing we don't know is the S27 Pro. So you remember they're adding a fourth device to this family. It will be the Pro model. It's going to be S20. It's going to have Ultra specs, just minus the S Pen. I don't know. I would assume that it would be, if the idea is to have similar specs, just minus the S Pen, well, then I'm assuming you're going to see a silicon carbon like battery in there, right? With these new sensors that they're putting in there. So not only are they changing the design, they're changing the hardware as well. So you're going to get all new camera sensors. You're going to get all new battery tech. Should be pretty interesting. Remember, you're getting the new UFS 5.0 storage. You're getting the new LPDDR6 RAM. The only thing we don't know if they're going to upgrade is the display. I'm hoping they do. Remember, they chose to not go with the 10-bit display. We all thought it had 10-bit. It's not. At least I hope they do. I mean, at this point, I have no clue what they're going to do. It looks like they're trying to cut costs in any which way possible. I would hate to say they skip out on another 10 opportunity to provide a 10-bit display this upcoming year, but I have no clue what's going on as far as that goes. It looks their mobile department is losing money as well. So we shall see, but what we do know is that you will see considerable upgrades in the S27 Ultra. We just don't know if it's going to have the full suite of upgrades. Display, memory, battery, camera sensors. It looks like you're going to get most of those, right? Or design. So we'll definitely keep an eye on this for everybody. If you're anticipating getting one, maybe you didn't upgrade to the S26 Ultra this year, and you might the following year. Subscribe. I'll keep everybody informed as far as what we know so far in this upcoming device. Now, let's see here. Queen Victoria of England. Our fourth is July 1st, which is Dominion Canada Day. Interesting. Note 7. I know. It seems like Samsung is scarred from that incident, right? It was a pretty big ordeal. We bought 2 of those and had to return them. That's when we were with AT&T. We waited until AT&T threatened to cut our service. We love the phone so much. We're like, I don't want to return this phone. But they kept on sending us text messages. You need to return your phone. You need to return your phone. Samsung wants you to return your phone. We want you to return your phone. We probably got 5, 6, 7 messages over the span of a month or two. Like every week for like a month or two. And then the very last text said, I can't remember verbatim what it said, but it essentially said, we're going to cut your service. We're not going to be tied to you because we tried to warn you, your phone may explode. I'm like, what are the chances of my phone exploding? I'm like, what is it, 0.001%? I was like, I'll take that chance. But we returned it. We didn't want our service to be cut. And then they screwed us. So they were like, well, we'll put you in. We'll give you another phone, any phone you want of equal or lesser value. But at that time, the Note 7, the Note series, was the very best phone Samsung offered. So we're like, well, anything we go to is going to be a downgrade. That's why I didn't want to trade it in. And we didn't want our service cut. So And here's the thing, even if they did cut our service and we went to a T-Mobile or Verizon, they had the same phones. I'm not going to an iPhone. And the Note 7 was the best phone available. So I'm like, well, anything I go to is going to be a downgrade. So I'm like, it's like, screw it. So we got the Samsung Galaxy S7 or S7 Edge. That's when the S7 Edge was out. And it was a downgrade. Now they screwed us because not only did they downgrade us to an S7 Edge, they also signed us up on those two phones for 2 whole new contracts. And we didn't even realize that till like 6 months in after they downgraded us. I think I went in there for something and they're like, oh, I see it. The rep in there was like, I see you got on for another 20, or was it 24 or 36 month financing plan with these phones. I'm like, wait, what? You mother. And then after that, that's what did it for us in AT&T. I said, man, screw y'all. I'm not dealing like they didn't even tell us. We were under the assumption we were going to trade these phones in. Same plan, just switch the phones out. No. They extended us another, I think it was 36 months. And I'm like, oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I was pissed. And of course, they weren't going to do anything. Well, you signed on the line. I'm like, it was kind of unprecedented, right? Nobody had ever gone through this phone exploding ordeal. And I see why Samsung may be a little hesitant to upgrade the batteries, but I think they'll be okay now. At least I hope so. I think most people have forgotten about that, except people like me and you. But the general public, I don't think, well, maybe they do. How long ago was that? That was... Damn, that was 10 years ago. Holy crap, 2016. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be, that will be interesting. The Pro or the Ultra. It's going to come down to the price, obviously. Now, I anticipate the Ultra being more because they're including an S Pen. So even if it's by $100, I think the Ultra is going to cost more. But I'm interested to see where this goes. I've even heard rumors that the Pro is even on paper is going to be even more spec'd out than the Ultra. We'll have to wait and see. I've heard that essentially it sounds pretty expensive that on their end that the S Pen certification, the parts, the labor, when everything's said and done, it costs $30 more per device just for that S Pen. So they were going to take that $30 that they're going to save on a phone with no S Pen. They're going to take that $30 savings and upgrade the hardware even more into the Pro model, which means maybe it has one newer, better extra camera sensor. Maybe it has a slightly larger, bigger battery, something like that. We'll have to wait and see. I just, at this point, I have no clue where they're going to go with this. But we'll see. Now, what did I tell y'all? That, man, Intel in Windows, this new Intel Panther Lake and its new sister CPU, the Wildcat Lake, which is still a Panther Lake CPU. It's just, got less cores and they provide less power to it. But it's still very powerful, very efficient, latest, newest technology. Intel's taking off. This was a quick one. So Intel actually is, now providing a budget CPU for budget Windows laptops to compete directly with MacBook Neo laptops. We all know the MacBook Neo. It's the budget entry-level MacBook, right? It's got the iPhone CPU in there, right? yeah. But I think it starts out at $599. I think I haven't priced one because I have not been interested in buying one. But Intel is providing Windows machines, Windows laptop manufacturers with a new Wildcat Lake, which is again a Panther Lake based Intel x86 processor directly headed for MacBook Neo. It performs better than the MacBook Neo. It provides more RAM than the MacBook Neo, provides more memory than the MacBook Neo. The only really thing the MacBook Neo has, this has more ports. The only really thing that the MacBook Neo has over these new sub 600 Windows laptops is going to be the display quality and brightness. So the MacBook Neo goes up to 500 nits brightness. I think these budget Windows laptops with Wildcat Lake go up to like, it's going to be budget, so it's not going to blow you away. I think this one goes up to 300 nits brightness, which sounds pretty low when you first hear it, but you can still see it, right? How many people are using their laptop outside, right? Not many. This is Honor is the very first to bring a Wildcat Lake laptop to the market, but you're also going to see HP with Wildcat Lake CPUs. You're going to see, I don't know if Samsung is going to do it. You're going to see all the major players, Acer, Asus. I'm probably forgetting a whole bunch of manufacturers, but all of them are getting these Wildcat Lakes. You're going to, here in a month or two, maybe 3 or 4 months, you're going to see a gang of sub 600 Windows laptops that are actually going to be pretty freaking good. I was just telling you yesterday how I think I'm going to have to get my daughter a new laptop, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, the prices are so freaking crazy. And then I see this today and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that they were coming. She doesn't, she's at least not yet. My daughter, she's 15. She does social media, all this stuff. She actually edits videos, but literally everything she does is on her phone. I tried to get her a nice, expensive computer, do video editing. You can get a nice job. You can go to college for this. She don't want to use a computer. She hates computers. So I'm like, well, I guess if I get her a new computer, it's going to have to be a sub 600, one of these new Wildcat Lakes. I literally saw this and was like, oh yeah, I'll just get her one of those. Cause I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to spend like $1,200, $1,000 at the least on a new laptop. And I'm like, I forgot about Wildcat Lake. So there you go. And by the time school gets, see, they're smart. They know school gets out now. They have to push these sub 600 laptops out before the fall semester starts for college or for high school. Everybody knows here, at least here in the U.S., the new school year starts in late August, September, depending on where you go. And that's typically in the summertime, around August, July, August is when laptop sales go through the roof. They're very smart getting this out, pushing these to the market before the college or school rush happens for these sales. So you'll see a ton of these here in the next month or two. So I think we're going to be, well, I know I'm going to be getting one. So we'll have to wait and see. But good option, especially for people that don't want to use Mac OS like myself, that are not Apple fans. Just gives you an affordable, especially with the prices. I was just pricing these yesterday. They're insane. Like, they're insane prices right now. So I'm very, very pleased to see these come to the market. And you'll be able to buy them anywhere. Like, we'll review them when HP brings out a new one, a Wildcat Lake laptop. I'll let everybody know. Acer, again, all the big name laptop manufacturers are going to be providing. Let me see if this has any specs in here, because I know they're pretty decent. So you're going to get all day battery life. That's what they always claim. I still don't fully believe them. We'll have to wait and see. But this is probably the launch of a processor where I know it's not going to last all day, but this is one where I'm like, I can kind of see that. All the others previously, I'm like, yeah, right. This is on Intel. I'm telling you, that's why their stock is shot way up. They're on a whole new wavelength. So I feel very confident purchasing one of these new Intel-based laptops. All day battery life. We'll have to wait and see. First Intel Core processors ready for hybrid AI. What the freak is hybrid AI? 40 tops out of this. That's pretty good for a sub 600 laptop. 40 tops, up to 64% lower processing power, meaning they can get a lot of performance out of this with just a little bit of power, up to almost 3 times AI GPU performance. So let's see. This will be typical with a sub 600 laptop with this Wildcat Lake CPU. This is like the base specs, what you can expect, right? You're gonna have 16 gigs of RAM. I think that's a given. I think 32 would shoot the cost way up, right? Which you can get by with 16 gigs. You don't have to. I know Windows recommends it, but you don't have to. You can still get by with 16. And that's very fast memory. LPDDR5X memory. 512 gigs of storage. It's pretty good. I think that's a base. That's what you'll see for $600. It's a 14-inch laptop. I believe it has an IPS LCD. You can see it also has another big bonus it has over the MacBook Neo is the ports. So this is going to have more ports. As you can see, it's got 2 USB Type A. Hopefully those are Gen 3.2s. Hopefully. Probably at the very least 3.1. And then you have an HDMI. Again, hopefully that's 2.1. At the very least, I don't know, probably 2.0. And then Type C. Now, I doubt it's going to be Thunderbolt. It'll probably be 3.2 Type C. Oh yeah, duh, it says right here. So we got, why didn't I just read? So the Neo, no, not the Neo. Let's see. The Honor, so this laptop offers 3 USB ports. One 3.2 Gen 2 Type C. That's good. That's one right under Thunderbolt, right? That's still pretty good. You can move a decent amount of data with that. Hopefully it'll be video out as well. So it'd be nice to run video out on HDMI and a Type C, right? If you want to use, well, I guess you can't use DeX. Damn it, Samsung. You're gonna get you're gonna get 2 3.2 Gen 1 Type A. Okay, that's good. And an HDMI port, we don't know what version. Audio out port, which is good. Let's see here. Power delivery. Oh, good. DisplayPort capabilities through Type-C. That's good. So you'll be able to, it looks like you'll be able to do video out as well. Power delivery. So you'll be able to charge it with that. You don't have to have some stupid proprietary charger. And then it's going to come with a 60 watt per hour battery. Oh, wow. The battery. Okay, so I think this will get all day battery life. The battery is almost twice as big as the one that comes in the Neo. Almost 2 times the size. Yeah, you'll be able to get a full day out of this, especially if it only goes up to 300 nits brightness. Your display's not gonna be sucking your battery dry, right? So this is a 14-inch. It only weighs 1.23 kilograms. It does have an all premium finish, like the all aluminum chassis of the Neo. So this is really cool. Now this is an Honor version, and it's for sale right now, but it's on JD.com. And I think a couple of other Chinese retailers. Don't rush out to get it. I mean, you can if you want to. But I'm telling you, here in a month or two, they're going to flood the U.S. market with these. This is just the first one to get out to the world. But if you're in the market and you don't want to spend an arm and a leg, again, wait a month or two, and they're going to have a ton of affordable laptops powered by Wildcat Lake. So I'm going to be one of the buyers. Not of this Honor, but something similar. So that's pretty cool. So I'm glad to see these coming out. So good news on that front. Hey, what's up, Daniel? Appreciate you joining us today. Samsung Mobile is planning to become the next LG. They do sell them fully unlocked. You love reading the post about buy Mac. PC has no battery. Obviously haven't used a PC since Lunar Lake. Panther Lake and Snapdragon get better battery life than M series. Yeah, I was just looking at yesterday possibly getting a new Snapdragon X2 machine. I'll probably take my time. I'm not in any rush, so may buy a nice used one. May buy new. I have no clue, but I'm gonna let the prices come down probably a little bit. And I don't know, because like I was telling you yesterday, I typically give my old laptops to my daughter, and I'll just get a new one. I might still do that. To be honest with you, depending on what deals are out there here in a month or two, I might just do that as well. But mine runs fine, so maybe I don't need one. I don't know. I actually really like mine, and I have 32 gigs of RAM. So and that's the interesting thing. If you price them, if you go on HP's website or you Asus or whatever, you customize your laptop and you add that extra 32 gigs of storage. Holy crap! An extra $410, and I have to have 32 gigs of RAM for what I do. So I'm like, God, insane. So I don't know, we'll see. But no, it's totally different now. Just in the last year, really like last 2 years, it seems like, and I'm ecstatic. I'm very happy because I'm not a MacBook person or Apple person, so I'm very happy to see Windows making this turn. I mean, it's really, it'll be one that we look back on like 10 to 15 years, 20 years from now, and we'll be able to see this is when they really turn things around when it comes to comparable performances between Mac OS and Windows, right? I'm ecstatic, and I can't even believe 2-3 years ago I would have laughed at the idea of me wanting an Intel machine, right? But you know, times change, and I'm all here for it. Oh yeah, I wonder how long that would last. Probably a week, right? Depends, but it would be up there. Yes, they do. Honor win with a whopping 10,000 mAh battery. Snapdragon Elite Gen 5. I've seen that too. Looks pretty cool. Now they're banned from the US, no? I know Huawei is. Maybe they're not. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but real quick before we get out of here, we've been on for about an hour. Let's see here. We're gonna hit this real quick. What else do I have? The specs of the Z Fold 8 wide specs leak with alleged battery and camera upgrade. So let's dive into this real quick. So for the Z Fold 8, we know it's essentially going to be a refresh, and goes to show you just how much better the Motorola Razr Fold is than what Samsung had, than any outside of Oppo and the N6. I'm taking that out of the equation and just talking about US specifically. Samsung is going to refresh this Fold 8. Not talking about the wide, just the regular Fold 8. And here's the thing. They're going to make it even thinner and lighter, but just a hair thinner and a hair lighter. You're going to get a new CPU, and that's about it. So, womp, womp, womp. That's for the regular Fold 8. But what about the Z Fold 8 wide? What about that wide? Well, we got some new information. Let's see. Oh, okay. I left out an upgrade. The Z Fold 8 is going to get a slight battery spec bump up to 5,000 milliampere hours for the battery as well. So I couldn't leave that out. But let's go to the Fold wide, because this is the one I can see myself getting. Now, I'm not a foldable person. I still haven't pre-ordered the Motorola Razr Fold. I might not. I just don't know how much I would use the inside screen if the outside screen is that good. But for those of y'all that are interested, it's confirmed to have a 4:3 ratio inner display aspect ratio. It's going to have two 50 megapixel rear sensors, one for the wide angle, one for the ultra wide. So you're not going to get that 200 megapixel sensor that they put on the S25 Edge. It's going to get two 50 megapixel sensors. Now, I don't know, is it going to be the Are they going to be brand new 50 megapixel sensors, meaning brand new models, or is it going to be the same old 50 megapixel sensors that they put in the S26, S25, S24, S23? I have no clue. Knowing Samsung and the way things are going, I'm anticipating this having the old 50 megapixel sensor in there. Now it's not trash, but it's certainly not up there with the best. I guess it'll do, but that's what it's going to come with. And let's see here, it's going to have a 4800 milliamp per hour battery. It's going to weigh right around 200 grams. So that's where that sits at the moment. Now, this will be launched, I believe it's July 19th. I think it's July 19th. Somewhere right around the second week in July, they're going to launch the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8, Z Fold 8 Wide, Z Flip 8, and we're getting new watches, and I think a new tablet, although that's not confirmed. But we are getting new foldables, we are getting new watches. And I think there's the Galaxy XR, the glasses. I think they're going to launch those as well. But subscribe to the channel. I'm going to cover this for everybody. So another interesting foldable, I think, with that aspect ratio, I think that would suit me better than the others, quite honestly. Personal preference, right? Now, real quick before we get out of here, this is something somebody brought up yesterday, or the last few days. Whatever happened to RCS 4.0 update? This is supposed to be the iMessage update for Android users, meaning, iMessage, for as much shit as I give Apple, I do applaud them and congratulate them for successful stuff and stuff they've been good at, and iMessage is one of them. It's very intuitive messaging system, right? How it's based, and it's based completely different than Google Messages. Google Messages application is based off of SMS, and they did implement RCS, but iMessage you can do a little bit more. Let's be honest, right? But those days appear to be behind us. At some point they will be, because we got word that Google Messages, they're gonna send us a Google Messages 4.0 update. This is supposed to open up Google Messages, and you're gonna get that crystal clear, high definition, dare I say ultra definition quality, video calling quality right from your Messages app. You're also going to get 3D emojis, new high definition 3D emojis. I know that's in the Android 17 beta that they're introduced with Pixels, but that'll make its way to other devices as well. And what else am I missing here? You're going to get, I know I'm missing something. Its video calls are going to be really good, and something else. Well, Messages already offers, let's see. I just got this update right before I started my live stream. So I didn't notice anything different, but I literally just updated my phone like 30 seconds before I went live. So I think this is part of the rollout, although I don't think it's technically 4.0, but this article is saying that the new Messages, the new beta, I have Google Messages beta running on my phones. They're saying the new 4.0 video RCS calls are in the code of this new application that's out. Now, I don't know if you have to video call somebody. Well, I'm pretty sure you do have to video call somebody else that has this application on their device for it to be crystal clear and ultra HD video calling. I don't ever do video calling, so it's not that big of a deal to me. I always found it weird when you're running errands, you go into a store and somebody's video chatting, but they don't have Bluetooth in, right? So you can clearly hear their conversation. And they're just, oh yeah, do you want this, large or small? Oh, what do you, just going on and on and on. I'm like, kind of tacky. But I never video chat, but I know there's lots of people that do. But I just want to get our level of messaging on that same level that Apple's got theirs, right? You know, it's on the way. It's on the way. But I think that is it. Yeah, Flossie did review an Honor phone was that last week, I think? I think it was last week. Huh. Yeah, I think the days of putting a S Pen and a foldable for Samsung are over. However, I heard they have something clever up their sleeve with the S Pen. So they're not necessarily going to put a silo, meaning a little inlet where you can stick your S Pen in, like for the S26 Ultra, S25 Ultra, S24 Ultra. What Samsung's going to do is put a little indentation. They're going to carve out on the very side of the phone, of the foldable. Now, I don't think they're going to implement this on the Note. Excuse me. I don't think Samsung's going to implement this new tech, the Pen tech, on because they don't support S Pen. But for future devices, they put a patent in. Who knows when they're gonna implement this? But where on the side of the phone, on the side rail, right where the edge is, literally on the side of the phone where it's flat, they carved out a little place for you to stick a S Pen in. So it technically won't go inside the phone. It'll just sit on the edge of the phone, but still be kind of flush with the side. And it'll stick in there with magnets. I don't know when they're gonna implement that. It could be next year, it could be in 3 years. But I know they put a patent and got approved for the patent for that. So, you know, it's kind of nice to know you won't just have to run around with it in your pocket, you know. So, I appreciate the time. It's getting a little late over here. So, what was I going to schedule tomorrow? See, if I don't write stuff down, I forget. Oh, I was going to have the future of smartphones. That's what I want to talk about tomorrow because it does not look good. And that deserves its whole live stream altogether, just by itself. We may do two shows tomorrow because of Google I/O. You know, they're going to launch, they're going to announce some new hardware of something. I don't think it's going to be a phone, but they'll launch something. And a bunch of new projects, a bunch of new software, a bunch of new features. They're probably going to roll stuff out, a whole bunch of app updates. So there's no way I cannot talk about that. I'm sure there's going to be some cool stuff. So join me for that. So we'll talk about the future of smartphones, which does not look good. And we will talk Google I/O. So I'll go ahead and schedule that right now. And hope you have a fantastic evening. Please be safe. And we'll see you here back tomorrow. Peace out.
Yeah. Woo.
I just need my space right now.
Fresh off the G5 jet, I'm on my way to a brand new kit.